This launch for us is an attempt to share what people experienced of MLD when he have engaged with him and what people have learned from his writings. So the panel that we have has this spectrum of people who are there with us. There are people who have looked upon him as their direct guru and who have become gurus of the Shishyas who have come to them seeking knowledge. These Shishyas who are there with us today, whom you all will witness live, they have attempted in their own way to percolate down that knowledge and experience. And they, in their own way, have advanced those frontiers much far and wide. When they come along, we would you'll all love to listen to them. I invite Kishore Mehta sir to please come on the stage. The first panelist, he has been practicing homeopathy for 40 years, founding director of HERI, ex-director PG of Sonaji Rao Kshirsagar, author of multiple books. He's been awarded with Teacher of Teachers Award and also Lifetime Achievement Award by Hamai. So no less credential that this sir carries. I invite Dr. Praful Barwalia sir. He was my guru directly. He is the trustee of M.L. Dhawale Memorial Trust. He is a founding chairman and trustee of M.B. Barwalia Foundation, which runs an amazing activity called as Spandan Holistic Institute for Applied Homeopathy. He has received innumerable of awards. When I was trying to squeeze them down on the slide content limitation prevented me from bringing that to the slide. So sir, please forgive me for not mentioning all that you have achieved. I invite Dr. Anand Kapse. He has been, to say, the man who initiated me into ICR once upon a time, because as all those who have gone to ICR may understand that you have to fill up a PAT test and an RCC, and all students are clueless of what is it seeking, and the same was the state of mine in 87, and he was the man who brought me to place. Anand currently works as our Director Resource and Chief Mentor. He was the Director for the Dhawale Trust Hospital, Palghar for more than 2 decades. He has been the editor of Pediatrics in Homeopathy, as well as editor for our operational manual that was created. Anand sits on Board of Studies. He is a faculty of Homeopathy. He is on the Academic Council of MUHS, and his current passion takes him to serve differently abled children through Sadicha Special School for mentally challenged children. I invite Saunil Malwania, please. He was trained by Dr. B.P. Kothari at Vadodara. He has been practicing Eklavya, staying in Rajkot, and attempting to stretch himself through his network that he has created with all of us in so many years. He is the professor and HOD of Organon at Rajkot Homeopathic Medical College. I invite Lata Devarajan. She comes all the way from Bangalore to us. She is the most recent MICR, and the face shows that she smiles after getting that also. Lata has been associated with us since time 28 years, and she has been taking the torch of ICR in Bangalore through the MLD MHS service centers that we are operating on. I invite the youngest of the lot, Dr. Nikunj Jani. He is the head and editor of JISH that is being consistently coming out since 2018. He is now my HOD in my department, and the most significant contribution, which is way outside our purview, is he's a podcaster. So Nikunj does have significant podcast and a following thereafter as well. Nikunj has been serving in the sphere of geriatric care, and Palghar district senior citizens have ensured that he is respectfully honored for his service. So thank you all for being here. I am sure with such a great panel that sits in front of us, we are going to have some good time to try and listen to all of them. Good morning. Principles and Practice 1 was released around 40 years ago. Sir typed the script of Principles and Practice 2 when he was 58 years old. And it has taken us 40 years to actually flesh the concepts that he had parked in those papers that he had typed when he was there at that time. At that time, when part 1 was created, it was the ideas that he received from L.D. Dhawale that was brought to bear with the time, with the awareness of the clinical medicine of that time. He brought in the integration of Hahnemanian philosophy and Bhagavad Gita through the literature that he created. He had a humongous library, and the library contained so many books of so many various topics that, it did excite me to the extent that I go on buying books even today. I hardly read. I don't know how much of what I read I bring to practice. But nevertheless, there was a collection from which he created his library. His Shishya, Tiwari sir, who was my guru, is someone I can't miss mentioning today at all. Both of them created a magic which brought in a concept of decoding the unprejudiced observer through a very novel concept of edutainment. There was an entertainment that was a part of the education that both of them brought to life. They brought live patients into a dead sessions, and then they created magic that most of us have experienced. This Guru Shishya that comes up brings in all these Gurus and Shishyas over here with us. I would bring to bear with all of them with my first thought of sharing their experiences of what has been their personal experience of having engaged with MLD, their experiences of having engaged with MLD's literature, and what is that they think about this basic concept of Guru Shishya Parampara. Sir, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Today's function in itself is representative of Guru Shishya Parampara, which is coming right from the time of L.D. Dhawale to M.L. Dhawale and to now Kumar Dhawale and all of you. So we are all part of a Guru Shishya Parampara. Would like to talk about my experience? Sure. When I joined ICR, it was the second year of ICR, I suppose so, 77, 78. And I was teacher in school, our medical college. There was a vast difference between what I was learning here in ICR and then what I have to teach in college. Because in college you have to follow certain discipline in terms of syllabus, in terms of curriculum, and you cannot ask question to the students in examination, out of syllabus, all those things were there. That was one experience. Simultaneously on other side, when I was going to ICR training, we had a hot discussion, and initially, of course, I was afraid of M.L. Dhawale looking at him, because his strict look and disciplined way of dealing with the students, because he was the principal when I was student in my homeopathic college, from 68 to 71. He was principal there also. And there this book of Principle and Practice was given to me, and Dr. Kasad inspired me to join ICR and go ahead with a further teaching in college so that I can improve my teaching. With Dr. Dhawale, I can analyze as a human being. He was absolutely hypersensitive about every relationship that he used to have with anybody, not only patient, with students also. Although appearing very strict and very something different by look, but internally he was like coconut. अंदर से अच्छा था, बाहर एकदम हार्ड था, तो शुरुआत में तो डरते थे, then gradually we developed a good relationship. Many a times it used to be very late in the clinic, in his clinic. He used to put me in my house in taxi when he used to go to Chembur. What I am talking is sensitivity and his way of dealing with the students. But as far as teaching is concerned, as a guru, he was very strict. He strict in the sense that he had something that a student should follow discipline. And I was the person who was most indisciplined in all my group. Never to come in time, come late, and then Dr. Dhawale used to close the door when anybody is late, so we have to be out till that session is over. Particularly in summer school, it was something like that, A lot of discussions and things were going on. But as a teacher, I'll tell you, he was taskmaster true. But at the same time, Dr. Kasser drew my attention. Kishore, he is like that, but I told him, sir, if he is teaching like this to everybody cannot accept whatever he is teaching or may not understand also. Because his language, first of all, is English language. Oh, we are coming from vernacular Gujju, that to Baniya's house, and then coming in and his English, anyway. But then he told me that he is sensitive, he knows kisko kaisa sikhane ka, he is very distinct. He was the first person in our college when he came as a principal. Now that NIT, NEET and all these things are going on. But when I joined college as a student, he was a principal. He took our test first before giving admission in Homeopathic Medical College, mind well. At that time there was no ICR, nothing. And he took our exam. And then we appeared, and there are 50 seats for admission. And he admitted only 27. And 27 mein luckily my 27th tha in admission. So this was his way of dealing. And he was really very sensitive. And when in clinic I used to observe him. His talk with patient was so free. बोला ये इधर फ्री रहता है, हमारे साथ क्यों इतना स्ट्रिक्ट बनता है? इधर तो अच्छे से आराम से बात करता है. Then gradually he taught us many things. Dr. Tiwari was with me. We were together at that same time. And Tiwari also helped us very much because Tiwari was like a buffer. क्योंकि वो सर गुस्सा करते हैं और हमको अंदर से गुस्सा आता है, तो he was buffer. किशोर भाई ज़्यादा सोचने का नहीं, वो तो बोलेगा ठीक है. But as you rightly said, Dr. Tiwari was really in between who could develop. His first seminar that was there in near Bombay Hospital or Liberty Cinema के बाजू में था कहीं, first that was related with what subject you told now. And that time, mind well, Dr. Tiwari, our English was very bad, our clinical knowledge was zero. I'll tell you one thing. When I used to appear in examination for final year in DHMS, our teachers who were there in Nanavati Hospital, what was their attitude, एग्ज़ाम में कमिंग, सर्जरी का एग्ज़ाम है, ये क्या है सर? इट इज़ अल्सर. ओके. ये क्या है? ये ग्लैंड है. ये क्या है? ये सर अपेंडिक्स है. ओके, पास. इनफ फॉर यू. दैट वाज द एटीट्यूड. With that state of our clinical knowledge, our English, we entered with Dr. Dhawale. Try to understand, Dr. Dhawale को कितनी मेहनत पड़ी होगी वो हम आज सोचता हूँ. I was telling Dr. Kumar, sir, hats off to that man. हमारे जैसे डफर्स को भी इतना तो ऊपर लाया वो हम हमारी कैपेसिटी से इतना ही ऊपर आए. लेकिन यहाँ मेरे आगे पीछे यहाँ बैठे हैं सब लोग जिसकी क्लिनिकल नॉलेज इज मच मच मोर बेटर देन मी व्हाट आई यूज्ड टू हैव व्हेन आई वाज स्टूडेंट. एंड ऑर्गन एंड आई टेल यू, I used to teach organon and philosophy. My main book was Principle and Practice. From there I used to teach because that book I loved like anything, and I used to teach from there. And organon में क्या पढ़ा हूँ वो तो मालूम ही नहीं पड़ा कि organon itself was English again, So इसे अच्छा है Principle of Practice Philosophy सिखा दो, symptomatology ये वो. Anyway, then Dr. Dhawale used to be, when we used to have discussion and all those things, Dr. Dhawale used to sit so coolly and calmly. We were all fighting and this, and Dr. Tiwari, as you know, master in running session, particularly life and living. उसको life and living मिल गया तो he is in full form. And Dr. Dhawale is also sitting behind, absolutely behind in that. We were there at Pratna Samaj. वहाँ एकदम पीछे बैठते थे Dr. Dhawale, and he used to make I think Kanitkar was also there. Is she there here? She has not come. Kanitkar means now Belsare, sorry. Yeah. She was also a Dr. Dhawale, he found that we did not know English much. He appointed one English teacher to teach us English. Mind well how much sensitive he was. कि ये इन लोगों को एक इंग्लिश टीचर रख दो तो थोड़ा तो कुछ समझेंगे. लेकिन it so happened that English teacher started speaking Gujarati. That was our state, you know. You can understand. So, talking of Dr. Dhawale's experience, my personal experience, many of us, have many problems in our life, And I found Dr. Dhawale was the best person to discuss with him about all these things. And he gave me one important lesson. Kishore, if you want to be successful in life, try to take responsibility. You are running away from the responsibility. Not only in your social life, but also in institution also. You are not taking it. And he offered me to be an associate director with Dr. Tiwari. Somehow there were circumstances I could not go ahead with it. But he was really a great man who could understand every aspect of student. And as far as his teaching, when I see all these, Dr. Kapse ka abhi book pada maine, operational, that was first written in first summer school by sir. And it was a small booklet with yellow color cover, And Dr. L.D. Dhawale's Mashal was there, So that particular book of operational this thing, he asked us to read and asked us to put it in practice. We were really, to be very frank, we were tired at the end of the day. But no doubt, it made me a good teacher. I learned to make structures, and I made structures of all the materia medica drugs which many students have received by now, And that helped me to be a good teacher. Even I was very angry on the students who were not answering me well in exam or so. After being in ICR for at least 3 years I was there. Not a regular, but because at that time I was teacher, so I had to go part-time only. And I used to teach my students those. First, going in the classroom, I used to make big structure of the drug. But I'll tell you, I learned from him how to analyze, how to evaluate, how to conceptualize. I think he has made my life smooth as far as homeopathic practice is concerned and my understanding is concerned. At present, with whatever I have learned from him, today it has helped me tremendously to the extent that whenever I'm going out of Bombay with various institutions and out of India also, they have accepted this manner of practice, But even every Thursday, Dr. Dhawale used to keep lectures meeting on Thursdays. In my clinic also, since then I left ICR, every Thursday we have clinical meeting since that time. And that is his inspiration, every Saturday. And I'll tell you today, whatever I am here, all obligations to whole Dhawale family. It's Dr. Dhawale, yes. L.D. Dhawale I could not see, unfortunately. And Kumar Dhawale, I think, great parampara. It is a Kutumbik parampara. अपनी तो है ही, ये कुटुंबिक परंपरा भी है. बहुत बड़ी बात है ये. 3 generation तक education को, and what was teaching, who is a teacher and what is education, I did not know anything about it. After joining ICR, realize कि इसको education बोलते हैं, इसको teaching बोलते हैं, students को कैसे करना, क्या करना. Well, gradually I did try to follow all these steps that you had given for certain years, for some. Then लगता है ये ऐसा कर सकते हम लोग.
परवानिया सर को भी पूछते हैं
हाँ
उनका क्या अनुभव रहा.
प्लीज, हाँ, नहीं तो मैं मेरे को बोल देना, नहीं तो चलता ही रहेगा शाम तक. Picture and mind, they don't go together.
Respected Pinakin Bhai, Mehta sir, Dr. Jawar Shah sir, Dr. Kumar, my Guru Bandhu, all my dear colleagues and friends. It's really an auspicious occasion which brings us back 4 decades. I was fortunate to be with Sir from 81 to 87. I completed my last paper of final DHMS on 23rd July at Anand, and on 23rd July 1981, and on 24th July 1981 at 8 o'clock in the morning I was with Sir. I was staying at Ghatkopar and I knew about the discipline of the institute and Sir's attitude about the timing and punctuality and sincerity. So I had taken decision to stay at Chira Bazar at my brother's office. It was a little tough decision since 4 years I had spent in the hostel. I was coming back with the idea of going back to the home. But then all those pleasurable ideas required to be put aside when I thought that I need to commit myself. And that was the day. Since then I had been with Sir. The initial year when you are in that dynamic environment, the learning circumstance which Sir had created, you pass through a number of swings. Of course, there is tremendous affection, tremendous care when you are in that situation. You are given an opportunity, a clinical opportunity, when you are allotted a patient and you made in charge of the patient. And when your mentor becomes the supervisor. It's a great experience. Of course, you do become conscious. Then subsequently, you do become little upset with the critical evaluation which comes up. But eventually, you learn, since you are confronted to yourself, what are your strength and weakness. It's a process which you pass through. Sometimes you have a colleague as an observer and you are analyzed through the case-taking setting. Sometimes you have supervisor as an observer. Sometimes you may have even Sir as an observer, if you are fortunate in some occasion. But really, I was blessed with it. Now, that is something which built up a gradual conceptual matrix and simultaneously also reduced, exaggerated consciousness about our self-image. Because we love that. And whenever it is confronted or threatened, we are scared. We make all out effort to protect it. The CSE clinical session evaluation form, the interaction there, and subsequent academic session, both this together brings about a lot of heat followed by tremendous light. And I was witness. I passed through that heat, which resulted into certain swings, but I remained steadfast to the objective, and then gradually I started learning and gaining a lot of fruits out of this entire. That was the first lesson of experiential learning which got imbibed within. That is the fundamental foundation of the learning if you wish to move ahead in your life. Similarly, if you wish to impart to others, when you are talking of Guru Shishya Parampara, my Guru has given me this, and if I need to, as a Shishya, I pass through heat and light and then try to achieve that, and then I try to transmit it to others, and that is the parampara. Now, this was.
Sir, in today's time, Anand has learned something from MLD and is transferring to his students. And there is a journey that he is trying to bridge. If Anand can share what are the difficulties that you go through now when you are attempting to imbibe in the student the concept of discipline that Mehta sir has said, or the effort that Barwalia sir is saying that is to be expected of the student to take, accept the heat and then learn from that heat. What has been your experience of handling the students now?
See, the student is one whose mind is moving in a Brownian moment. Because there are so many things going on in our mind and pulling us in various directions. Conflicting states, confusion. And I would separate the teacher from a guru because it is a guru who gives direction to your life. He teaches you how to live. He doesn't just teach you the subject. So, even whatever we were, as sir has described rightly, we were in the same state. We had not experienced good homeopathic results. We did not know so many things. We did not know what is ahead in our life. And MLD, there is a certain exterior, but beyond that is a fundamental belief that philosophy and practice are same. And it is the job of the teacher to demonstrate it to the student by the way he is living all the time. And Guru Shishya Parampara, at least in ICRD, means that, as Prabhu rightly pointed out, you reach there at 7:40 and you are there till night 9 or till the last patient goes, which can be 11 p.m.
11.
So you can only go home, have some sleep and come back again. So practically you are spending your time with your Guru. And that is what is shaping you. So, and it exposes you to all variety of knowledges. You are surrounded by books. And then there is a system. So you are trying to organize your own mind, which is right now irrational, moving like this, into a system. You are acquiring various facts, concepts.
But Anand, in today's time,
Yeah.
like sir was talking of CSCF as a tool which brought him to an awareness of something. You are now sharing with your students how to use the SCR as a tool.
Yeah.
What has been your efforts and the learning that you got? What makes people learn?
See, the fundamental what I have found is that it is a result which makes student learn. There is an action result complex because the student firstly comes with a confusion whether homeopathy works and how to select the right remedy. So when you show a right action result complex and engage the student around with that, then he is willing to learn the reasons on which certain action is taken. Then he is willing to learn the system. I'm sorry, my voice is hoarse today.
Hold the mic to your mouth.
I'll try to.
Mic's our phone.
So the student, I have not found any change in the state of the student, what we were 40 years back and what the student comes today, because fortunately, unfortunately, homeopathic institutions continue the same.
But the clinical knowledge is moving.
Little better.
Do you think you have been as good as MLD as you experienced him to your students?
No, it is not possible.
Not possible.
Not possible. He was a giant. See, for me, whatever now I have studied 40 years, there is a Guru Shishya Parampara in homeopathy, which starts with Hanuman to Boningasan. Then that thought continues, Kent, Bogar. I find MLD is the person who fits into that Guru Shishya Parampara.
But
So for us to compare, I mean, each of these masters has picked up the thoughts of the predecessor and they have taken it further.
no, but the tools
And
that
we
he
are
created,
small fries who try to explore these 5 gurus.
no, Anand, but in the tools that he created, does that help you to reach out to the
100,
students?
because he has created tools which can help you teach all these masters. That is the beauty of his work, that the integration level is so high that all the 3 classical approach, which also start with the Hahnemanian teachings, clinical knowledges, the Indian philosophy, the psychology, the psychiatry, everything merges into one piece. Now, that is only possible when you are walking the talk. You are applying all these knowledges in day-to-day practice in an integrated way, which creates that conceptual grid. So having the conceptual clarity and developing a methodology, a system to apply that conceptual grid into practice. So this is a gigantic task, and this is not possible unless you live it.
I just switched to Lata. You never experienced these people. Just a minute. They have lived with him and they have learned from him. You never lived with him. You have only read from him. How did you match this bridge to your student that you get to with?
Sir, the only bridge was Tiwari sir and the faculty of Bombay that interacted with us. So initially, for us, learning was very transactional through books, schools. There was never anything that we thought how much to earn, how much to get respect. Then when we first entered into this institute, we started realizing this is different. And there was while I would love to cling on to fingers, the fingers started telling that, look at yourself, point to yourself, the finger was saying. So I realized that our masters and sirs have gone beyond making medicine a job for survival to something that is deeply spiritual yet very disciplined and scientific. So that was very attractive and catching for this kind of a person that I am. But Tiwari sir was not a very easy person to work with, sir. So I would find it very difficult why he is sitting on our head and making us do these things and never teaching us anything. So once, very early on, I had the guts to tell him that, sir, I think it's getting too much for us. Why don't you teach us? Why can't you just make it simple for us? Why are you, who understands philosophy at 23, 24 when all that we are trying to do is settle everything? Then he's not going to answer me straight, right? So he's going to tell me a story which I'm supposed to figure out what it means, but that story is something that I never forgot. He said there was a poor man who went to Krishna and Arjuna and said, I can't live, I need help. So Arjuna gives him a bag of coins and he's very happy with the gold coins and walks, and the robber in the jungle took away the coins. He felt very bad and went back. Then Arjuna gave him a diamond. Then he said, now I'm not going to lose this diamond. And he went and hid it in a pot. And then the wife takes the pot and puts it in the river for fetching water, and the diamond goes. And then he again comes back crying. So this time Krishna tells him, don't touch. I will handle. He gives him 3 coins, 3 1-rupee coins. And then he says, what is the use of these 3 1-rupee coins? And he starts walking. Then he sees a fisherman who's selling those fish. One of the fish was really struggling. And he thought, okay, let me buy that fish and put it back into the lake. At least it's surviving. So when he caught hold of that fish, there was something hard stuck. And he removed that. And he saw it was his diamond. He got so happy. He started shouting that the robber thought he's shouting for him and gave him the coins also back. Then Tiwari sir said, what did you learn? I said, sir, what am I supposed to learn? That 3 rupees is going to give us such a lot back, whatever we lost. And then he said, it's not that. Sir, at 23, 24, who will think this? He said, can't you see that the day he started feeling the pain of somebody else, the day he started looking beyond himself, he gets blessed with whatever he deserves. And that was something that we realized over a period of time, that it was such a simple lesson taught in a very difficult manner, but something that stayed with us for a lifetime.
Saunil obviously has some experiences way out of the orbit that all of they have been sharing so far. Saunil went through with BP Kothari and then thereafter. What happened?
See, my first interaction with Dr. Dhawale sir was through his books. In the UG, I read the Principles and Practice, and I found that this book is much more relevant for the time. What I had read in Organon, what I read in Kent, Stuart Close, due respects. But this was the first book which I found that it is relevant for today, and I could relate with it in a much better way, rather than those old books, the language and everything. Then, further ahead, somebody introduced me to Dr. BP Kothari, and then Dr. Mihir, Dr. Manoj, and two other doctors. We joined Dr. BP Kothari's clinic, where it was written Hahnemannian Homeopathy. And we were intrigued that what is this? And that is exactly where the Guru Sishya Parampara could be realized, that Dr. BP Kothari actually lived the way Dr. M.L. Dhawale had written in his books. That was the learning, that we can live this life. What is written in books, we can also practice. And that is how the parampara continued. I could listen to Dr. M.L. Dhawale through his writings, his perceiving, his symposium volumes and all. And then symposias, I was introduced to Dr. Kumar sir. Gradually he became my family physician, my mentor, friend, philosopher and guide. So what our elders have witnessed about Dr. M.L. Dhawale, I could see something different. I mean, I won't say different, but the tri-coordinate care which he had emphasized, I could see the learner care part from Dr. Dhawale's functioning. I don't know how much I learned about homeopathy, but I could always see that Dr. Kumar sir was always there for me. He would have only 1 or 2 sentences written in his inland letters or postcards when I am struggling, and that were very strict. And I had to follow, even though I did not like certain things. And then certain things I could not discuss with him. But then came Dr. Tiwari sir. I have hardly spent much time with him personally, but during such small conversation, छोड़ दे, इतना कर दे, इतना करेगा ठीक हो जाएगा. Some simple, direct, ground level का simple advice. तो ये जो learner care था, that was demonstrated in my life. That is the best part that has happened in. And then about reading the books, the thing that really struck me was Dr. Dhawale's book had conscience. Long back, there was only one guru who would take care of your religious issues and your health issues. But as the medical knowledge advanced, the roles separated. Guru could not handle the medical aspect, so medical aspect was given to somebody else. And then over a period of time, the medical person lost the conscience. And that is exactly what we are seeing these days. That there is a big gap between the conscience and the clinical work that they are doing. According to me, according to my exposure, Dr. M.L. Dhawale's book and the whole series of books deals with that conscience. It has stirred conscience within me, and I think that is the biggest gift I ever.
Nikunj, for all of us, has traversed from training at ICR to learning at MLD MHI to now teaching at MLD MHI. How do you look at that journey?
I mean, listening to that Guru Shishya Parampara which we have been there, all of us who have passed through, we learned from students of MLD sir. Now, in today's world, what we see is the world is full of teachers. Actually, anyone who wants to learn, all you need is a good internet connection. That's it. And most importantly is what is lacking is the intent to learn. All you need is an intent. The teachers are there. Unfortunately, the classrooms are empty. So everybody is teaching somewhere. All you need, just log in, gain the knowledge. But there is a lot of noise. That noise is what a guru separates. Is a guru allows you to filter that noise. So there will be teachers. Sir said that there are a lot of teachers, but the guru is one. So the noise, when it is filtered out, it is then when somebody gives you a direction, somebody empowers you, and somebody makes you think independently. And that's the role of a guru. I think long ago, I recollect, must be, I don't know the content of the mail, must be some random ramblings which I must have sent to Kumar sir. And he wrote me a reply to the mail and he said, the art of man making runs deep. What ICR practices is the art of man making. And then sir goes on to write about MLD was a man who was MLD sir was the man who believed that a person should rise above your own circumstances and achieve what all one needs to achieve. So intrigue me, man making and all. Man making is something which the philosophy is professed by Swami Vivekananda. And then subsequently in the modern times by Swami Chinmayananda. He has 2 books on art of man making, fantastic books. What it deals is making a human being rise above their circumstances and at one point of time learning in an ethical way. What Sanil sir also said, the conscience. The ethics has to be a part of any role or responsibility which you take and how you discharge that. Now this is the legacy of the organization. When an organization does not see you as a student or does not see you as somebody who has paid the fees or has come to just study here, but it is man making and it takes time. But eventually you see men over here who have gone on to sit on the highest pedestals of homeopathy. There are students of MLD sir who have now nurtured institutions who are sitting here. And then there are our students of theirs who are working for the institute. And this legacy, I think, will continue. It runs deep. So that is what the Guru Shishya Parampara means to me.
Transferring of this legacy, attitude, conduct of life, converting all of that into practice of homeopathy and treating patients. In all your experience, all 6 of you are sitting over here, if I could ask each one of you, like if you were there, sir, in your instance, how does that structure form function as a tool, demonstrate to you your organon into its miasmatic correlations? How does that help you and how that gets translated to your students?
Yeah.
So you'll have to be very brief on this.
Yeah. See, the structure, form and function gave me a basic understanding of the phenomena of the disease. And Hahnemann talks of phenomena of the disease in 9th aphorism. Disease is a phenomena. That phenomena word was not understood by me till I understood that what is a phenomena. So which has a causation, beginning, acme and this. And all these things represented in miasm by having a graph. So what Organon was talking in general, he made it more specific at every level of Organon. मिशन से शुरू होता है या नॉलेज से शुरू होता है और पोर्ट्रेट से डिजीज होता है. All these things are actually put it into paper and shown in the patient when we were trying to understand how the case was taken, how it was problem definition, resolution. When we see all these things, then we realize that Dr. Hahnemann का इतना भी भारे पड़ता है, तो ये तो वामन दर्शन हो गया था by him. It was a वामन darshan of homeopathy or organon. So in practice, it does help. Structure, form, function is a fundamental aspect of any living organism. तो बेस ही हुई था.
Praful sir, you are talking of CACF. You are talking of CACF as a tool that
Yes, yes.
brings us to life
Yeah.
and awareness. How do you look at that tool in today's world and bringing it to actually for students?
Clinical session evaluation form you are referring to. And in the context of today's world, where does it stand? Right? Now it has much more and deeper implication. Now, number one, in today's world, when we relate to homeopathic world, we are seeing a lot of diversities. People are taking different approaches and practicing homeopathy. Now, I am not talking of Boger's approach or Vonnegush's approach or Kant's approach. Now, homeopathy has become almost an homeopath-centered, individualized homeopathic practice. Now, clinical session evaluation form will definitely bring you closer to the fundamentals of your case taking and then evolving a standard case and then achieving the totality. Is it all theoretical, doctrinal, or it has practical implication? In one of the town of Germany, when Hahnemann went, the various homeopaths and the fans of homeopath gathered. And sir, tell us, who is the best homeopath according to you in this town? Whom should we consider best? Hahnemann's answer was simple. Give me the case book. Once case taking shows completeness, he is the best. Not the one who is successful and has a huge queue, not the one who is getting a lot of results in the whole queue. Now, so clinical session evaluation form will definitely bring you to case taking and what Hahnemann has mentioned about completeness of the case taking. Second important aspect is unprejudiced observer. When we are talking of mal-observation, non-observation, errors of observation, all these things come into play. So obviously, when this tool is grasped properly and the way in which Tiwari sir has made Herculean efforts to teach us how to come face to our prejudices, handle them and move ahead. You will never eliminate, but once you handle them, once you become aware, you will be able to do this. Now, all these things are interrelated, Anup. When you are talking of Guru Shishya Parampara, when you are talking of Guru, when you are talking of teacher, when we speak of Guru and split Guru, Gu and Ru, the Gu is the darkness, and the Ru is one who dispels this, who eliminates this, who destroys this, the darkness. So we come across various teachers. Now it's up to us whom to make Guru. And again, the onus of responsibility also lies on us. There might be Guru standing in front of you who is quite keen to dispel that darkness, to destroy that darkness. Are you capable to stand there? Are you capable to leave the implications which your Guru is lying down for the process of dispelling that darkness? If you are, then definitely the destroyer of the darkness will work on it and there will be transformation. This is the essential difference I see when I look at my mentor's teaching. That the teaching is not focusing on acquisition of facts or building up of some concepts, but the ultimate goal is the transformation. And if that transformation happens, the absolute credit goes to Guru. What I am, I owe to my Guru. What I am, what I have achieved, I owe to Dr. M.L. Dhawale, my teacher, my mentor, my Guru. And that is the key.
As we,
So the important aspect in all these in today's world, this is much more important because we are going far away from ethics. We are becoming solely dependent on Darwin imports, right from Trump to Musk. Everyone is showing you day in and out. And this will be disastrous over a period of time if the teaching industry gets totally inflicted by that. And so onus of responsibility on teachers are much more to see to it that although 5% this Guru Shishya Parampara is alive in our world, in all the fields, to see to it that the 5% remains and over a period of time we expand it. So there the transference of values become much more important, which is the key aspect in the Guru Shishya Parampara. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As we are coming to the close of time, which is the master of all of us, I wish to express my gratitude for all of you for sparing your morning and sharing your life's wisdom to all of us who are here. We also have to look up to the lessons that they were sharing with all of us, concepts of being disciplined, concepts of being able to put yourself into the post of taking responsibilities and discharging them, being true to what efforts the Guru is making you in transforming you from X to Y, trying to breach the heat that comes up in this process of friction that can come up, and obviously attempting to balance our own lives so that we march on in the bright future that exists beyond all of us. I wish to bring down this panel to the closure end, and there is a request. All of you have a minute each to share your view. How do you think this can proceed ahead in the life? How does this Guru Shishya Parampara and transformative processes in homeopathy you envisage will go ahead in life henceforth? A minute each for each one of you.
Guru has to be sensitive that what my disciple can accept and what is his potentiality.
Yes, Anand.
I think in the today's world, use of technology has become very critical, and even critical thinking also can be taught through software in homeopathy. This is my experience. So online use this SCR system and the logic, because everything in homeopathy comes down to symptomatology. All concepts of homeopathy get linked to symptomatology. And if that can be, the student can be trained in connection of symptomatology with various concepts of homeopathy through software, because that is the easiest way to reach across.
Yes,
Then homeopathy can proceed.
Institute is making an effort of doing online teaching training program.
Yeah, so that was what I wanted to share, because South was just like we have the political parties talking North-South divide. We have this divide between Bombay and the South, which never could be bridged because it's not physically possible to travel distances, leaving so many of our roles and responsibilities. Post-COVID opened up an entire new platform of Zoom and a way to connect to people, which even though the Guru Shishya Parampara based on direct relationships, it is possible, like what got launched recently in the continued homeopathic education program, you could see the immense joy that almost 100 people from South have joined that program. So, and even if they don't attend the main sessions, they listen to the recordings. And for them to get connected with the cases, the sirs, and this, even if it is a Zoom, you can make it still very interactive. And you can make it like a group presentation and have action learning happening. So that was something that was a very remarkable launch by the Institute. And it has helped us feel that we can also stay connected with our mentors and learn from them. Such beautiful presentations of warts, psychiatric cases, management of pneumonia. How would we sitting in our clinics even think of learning from our sirs, except through this platform? And even that student, where earlier we had to physically be present in clinics and we always used to feel the learning we get in Bombay is different from elsewhere. Now they've made a hybrid program where the students get connected to all centers across India, and yet they attend the clinics for the personal touch. So the hybrid regular training program is another model which uses Zoom. So I think going ahead, we can use the artificial intelligence to replicate telemedicine from Palghar to many parts of India.
How do you look at sharing and transfer of knowledge through publishing?
So knowledge has to be shared. I mean, what we believe is the more you give, the more you get. The more you keep with you, the less it comes to you. So the need of the hour today is not to just be content with what we are doing. I think publication is the way forward because you're leaving a legacy behind. I think all of us learned because our past masters wrote, and they wrote absolutely, they were giants in publishing. What we have been lacking, I personally feel, is that we as an institute have been doing work in probably all areas of clinical care, community education and research. We are less published. Our body of work is not justified by our publication because there is so much that the world can learn from us and so much that we can share and even learn from them because probably the journal process has taught us that there are stalwarts sitting all across the world. And they as reviewers also give you an insight which we may be missing in a lot of our things. So it's not only we do, it's all of us do together. And I think in today's world, nobody can live in isolation. It's all of us have to together move ahead. That's how the science moves. And publication is because, of course, the government is asking for evidence, the world is asking for evidence. And we need to, as a science, give evidence. I think the onus lies on us. So I think publication is very, very important.
Can I conclude this panel discussion, or do you want this to go on?
You are the master.
Yeah. So, given the constraints of time, I really state my sincere thanks and gratitude to all of you, having shared all your experiences and potential direction for the future for homeopaths and homeopathy together in this country and the world. Thank you so much. Thank you.